anybody for permission or for forgiveness. Good question. Thank you.
You mentioned that people can't afford to work because of what's called the safety net. How do you wean people off of the safety net?
Yes. Add work requirements. That's the answer.
That's right.
So this shouldn't be a partisan affair. Actually, back in the 1990s, when Bill Clinton, a Democrat, and Biden voted for this at the time, reformed welfare to say that they attached work requirements. Those were more aggressive requirements than were actually proposed, but now called by Biden racist or whatever, to charge. Basics of if you're between the ages of 18 and 55, and childless, and you're able-bodied, then in order to get certain types of welfare or aid, you have to work at least 20 hours a week if you want more than 3 continuous months. It's not too much to ask. Even that is what now the modern left calls racist or oppressive or whatever. So yes, I think we have to bring work requirements back. And I want to say something about this because it's not just that I think it's unfair for the hardworking Americans to have taxes taken straight out of their paycheck and payroll taxes and income taxes to go feed somebody, to go feed the lethargy of countless other people who refuse to work. It's not just that's fundamentally unfair and it's anti-meritocratic. It's not just that this will also be what's needed to stimulate our economy. The reason this business, or others like it at least, will have a hard time finding new people to work is that we're paying people more money to stay at home. And that'll stimulate the economy if you add those work requirements. Not even just that. What do you think is driving this mental health epidemic across our country? Especially amongst young people. I'm part of a generation where a majority of people my age or younger, it's the first time in American history, have relied on their parents to provide their economic security blanket and a substitute for their salary. Why is that? It's not even good for the people who are supposedly helping. If you're 27 years old, sitting in your parents' basement, playing video games, smoking pot, that's not good for you either. That's driving depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide. That's not compassion. That is cruelty. And so one thing we will end on my watch as your next president is, we will stop using our taxpayer money to pay people to do the exact opposite of what's actually best for them. Right now, we're paying single mothers more money not to have a man in the house than to have a married man in the house. And you know what I believe? The nuclear family isn't a bad word. It's the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Amen. We're paying people more money not to go to work than to go to work. Well, you know what? If you're hungry for purpose and meaning, going to work, having a job and earning money is part of how you fill that vacuum of purpose in your heart, too. We're paying people more money not to repay their student loans than to repay their student loans. Unfair to the people who worked hard and did it, but even a betrayal of teaching the next generation the wrong set of values, that you free ride on somebody else's hard work. I've been to the inner city of Kensington, in Philadelphia, in Kensington. The so-called aid programs to help people who are on drugs there involve giving them needles and crack pipes. That's not humane. That's not compassionate. That is cruelty. And so that ends on my watch as your next president. But it requires a president with the spine. Because in the short run, if you're taking away aid or adding conditions to aid, people have a negative reaction to that. But if you're actually saying, no, we're here to help you do what's best actually for you and for the country, that's the kind of president it's going to take to lead us, not just out of this economic malaise that we're in, but out of this deeper national identity crisis that we're in. We're in a national identity crisis. You ask people in my generation, in your generation, what does it mean to be an American today? You get a blank stare in response. It's like a deer in the headlights. That is the vacuum at the heart of our national soul. And it is our job to fill that vacuum with our own vision. This is why I say the Republican Party, we have grown lazy. I'll criticize the left. That part's easy. But let me say a word of discipline to our own party. We can't just criticize the other side for their vision without offering an alternative vision of our own. What do we stand for? individual, family, nation, God. That beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate if we have the courage to actually stand for something. So no, we can't anymore just be the party that is running from something. I am in this race to lead us to something. To our vision of what it means to be an American today. And if we can answer that question, that's how we dilute the rest of the poison to irrelevance. That is how we win. Take that question from you, sir.